Hello and welcome back to Piano Spun Yarns for day 2 of Advent 2025. It is December 2nd and today we're going to be opening up the second package of wool from the World of Wool Advent calendar. This year our theme is Culinary Christmas, so it's going to be based on some kind of Christmas food tradition from around the world. Let's jump right in and see what our wool is for today. Today's wool is called Hansel and Gretel. And we're seeing all over this package, we're seeing gingerbread trees and gingerbread men. So my guess is that this blend is going to be based on gingerbread. And very famously, the house in Hansel and Gretel that the witch lives in is made of gingerbread. So that would make sense for me. Hansel and Gretel is also a German tale from the Grimm fairy tale tradition. So let's see what World of Wool has to say about day 2, Hansel and Gretel. I think for every day I'm gonna read, there's a couple paragraphs in here. The first paragraph gives like some background, and then the second paragraph talks about the wool and the colors that are used in the blend. I think I'm gonna try to hide that second paragraph for myself, read the first one just to get an idea, and then try to guess what's inside the wool blend every day. So day 2, Hansel and Gretel, is 75% merino wool and 25% sari silk. So we're starting off with a lot of silk this year. Hansel and Gretel is one of those classic tales that instantly conjures up images of snow-dusted forests, moonlit paths, and of course, that irresistible gingerbread house. While the story might carry a few darker twists, witches and ovens, anyone, we couldn't resist focusing on the magical, sugar-coated charm of the cottage itself. So I'm seeing a lot of pictures of these gingerbread men with white, maybe in my head even red or green frosting. So my guess is that we're going to see a really natural brown merino base with maybe some white, red, green sari silk as our icing on these gingerbread men. Even more colorful than I thought. So it does look like we have this really nice ginger, almost cinnamon colored merino wool. And our sari silk is like confetti. It's got like a carnival look. You see all the colors in there. That's so nice. So let's read about what is in this blend. For this blend, we began with a gorgeously warm gingerbread toned merino wool, soft, rich, and subtly silky. It is very soft. I would assume it's probably one of the super soft merinos, although it doesn't say. If it isn't, it's got a gorgeous handle. Soft, rich, and subtly silky, just like a freshly baked biscuit. But no gingerbread house is complete without its sweet decorations, and that's where the sari silk comes in. Bursts of colorful recycled silk are scattered throughout this blend, representing the candies, sweets, and icing that turns simple spice into festive magic. The result is a fiber that feels as super soft, perfect for spinning up something whimsical. This reminds me of like a very modern take on a tweed. So yesterday, I realized that splitting this in half is just not going to work out. So instead, I'm going to split it into thirds, and then I'll take 2/3 and leave the other third for that post-Advent project. I might have to rethink my post-Advent project because what I had in mind, I don't think is going to work out if I'm only saving a third every day. I wanted my post-Advent project to also be crochet, but crochet is just eats up yarn. I know that, and I was warned about it specifically by my friend who crochets, but I really wasn't prepared for just how much farther you can stretch wool when you're knitting. I'm gonna set up the wheel and we'll start spinning. I already know that the sari silk is gonna make a little bit more of a textured yarn for us, but I'll try to keep it as consistent as possible. I think the merino is gonna help to keep it consistent because it's so fine and fluffy. We're all set up here. I'm gonna split this. I think 2 will be enough. If I need to split it further, I will. But since I'm spinning a little thicker than usual, it's okay that my fiber is a little thicker than usual also. Get started here. Still nice and slow. These colors are so fun. I like how well blended the sari silk is into the merino here. So you could have done it more like strips of sari silk and then strips of merino, but this is so well blended that you're getting a really tweedy effect. Getting a lot of colors in this one section here. So I'm gonna spin this section a little bit before I do a plyback sample, just to show you how all those colors are gonna work up in that finished yarn. Because of that sari silk, you are gonna get sections that are a little bit thicker and sections that are a little bit thinner, but it's still not anywhere near a thick and thin yarn. It's just gonna be a tiny bit inconsistent, which in crochet is okay. I also like knowing that a lot of those colors are gonna show up in the puff stitch in that granny square. So you're gonna see these puffs, just so many colors in there. This section feels like a good place to pause. I'm gonna do just a small plyback sample. That's so cool. Take a look at that. If it'll focus on it. Oh, my face is in frame. There are just so many colors in there. A lot of that pink, yellow, and green. It reminds me of Christmas lights or Carnival. We're falling really nicely into that Aran weight category. So I'm gonna continue to spin just like this. Okay, so here we have our finished yarn, Hansel and Gretel, for day 2 of the Advent calendar. This has such beautiful colors in it, and they come through really just constantly. There's not a spot where you're not looking at so many colors. They really remind me of Carnival or the color palette of the Hunchback of Notre Dame movie, the animated Disney version. Unsurprisingly, because of all these little pieces of sari silk where you end up with these kind of textured spots, this yarn turned out a little thicker than Aran weight in a lot of spots. Some spots are right on, but there are a lot of spots that are just way thicker, definitely leaning into bulky, and not a lot of spots that are much thinner than that. This was a third, or 2/3, sorry, of the yarn for today. So I am really hoping that this is enough to make those 3 granny squares. If it's not, I will be obviously taking some more and finishing out that spin. And if it's not enough, I'm gonna have to really think the second project. It's kind of a bummer that my original idea is not gonna work out, but that's crochet for you. So you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to see if I can get all 3 granny squares out of this amount. It already feels a little bit denser. I think I definitely stand a better chance with this, but you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if it works out. And crochet is so crazy. So this is me in real time just finishing up the last 2 of these granny squares. And this is all that's left. I'm gonna ball it up real fast. And this was 2/3 of the yarn. Crochet is nuts. See you then. Bye.